Well, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us here on the morning show on E. More than 75% of South Africans pass away without a valid will in place. Obviously, this causes a lot of devastation, and there are a lot of consequences for the families and dependents. So this Wills Week, let's unpack what a will is and why it is important for you to have one. Alex Simeonides, who is the CEO and co-founder of Capital Legacy, joins us live in studio right now, social distancing. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Interesting conversation that you and I are about to have because, just as I said in the intro, 75% of South Africans either don't have a will or have an invalid, unsigned will.
That's correct. That's correct. And like I mentioned to you, 75%, that figure's improved over the years. It's still a shocking number, though.
Yeah.
So
why is that, do you think?
Well, we've been trying to get to the bottom of it. You know, it's one thing to sit here as a company and say, well, you know, these people aren't doing wills.
Right.
And we actually ran a survey recently for Wills Month. We marked it as Wills Month. And the results of the survey are that the biggest reason for people not getting their will done, procrastination. Something like 40% of people, the reason why they haven't done the will. The next biggest reason is that they didn't know where to go. Now, I see that as a failure on the part of myself and my peers in the industry. We didn't let you know how to get your will done, and that's actually quite easy, and I think that's a failure on our part.
Because I imagine a lot of people imagine there's a cost involved as well. Like, do I need to have a lot of money for me to get a will? I mean, if I don't have anything...
What's the point?
What's the point of it all? What do you tell them?
So exactly. So the third reason was the cost of getting the will done. And that's what this last week was all about in terms of Wills Week. So traditionally, lawyers would draft a will and they charge a fee.
Right.
And the Law Society of South Africa in this last week gone, in Wills Week, they do the will for free.
Okay.
But companies like ourselves, and quite a few of us, we actually always do the will for free, any time of the year. So we use this month, as we call it, we use this month as Wills Month to raise awareness to get you to do your will, because there is no cost to getting it done. And that doesn't mean you need to go onto some kind of website or something. We can actually come out and physically see you to give you that comfort that you've spoken through the issues, still no cost. So there really isn't a reason to get your will done. We need to move that percentage down.
And Alex, for those who don't know, what is by definition, a will, the last will and testament?
So to keep it nice and easy for your listeners, a last will and testament is that piece of paper on which you've written down who you want to get what.
Oh.
There's an art to it because you need to make sure what you write down is correct. But in the very simplest form, what you write down, who must get what, forms a will. We've even had an example where a person wrote that their motorbike must go to their boyfriend, and it was on a napkin, on a napkin from a restaurant.
Right.
The master of the court actually accepted that. But that's not great. Let's not let the viewers do lots of napkin writing. Still needs a professional to do it properly. Okay.
And by professional, and you mean art of writing, there are certain details that need to go in there. Your first name, your last name, your ID number, all the rest of it.
A few other intricacies, Will.
Okay.
So, for example, if you've got young children and you want them to get your house or your car or everything, you actually need to make a trust in your will.
Oh, I see.
Now, if you were just doing that on a napkin or someone who didn't know what they're doing, they wouldn't create that trust. And then what happens, and this is the point to getting your will done, it's one of the reasons for doing your will, is in that children's money will go to the government guardian fund, which I doubt is what you intended.
No, 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 no. So how do you then guard against that?
Through consultation. And that's why we promote, together with the industry, consultation when doing a will, because you don't know what you don't know. If you're on Google trying to find out how to do a will, you don't know you may need a trust. But we know you need one because you said you have children.
Yeah.
And that's where the professionalism comes in.
So what's the first step then, Alex, when you are planning a will?
So I think the first step is, well, when I go into a will consultation, I try to remove all the noise. So the thing I always say to the clients is, close your eyes. What is the one thing you wish to happen?
Okay.
Because there's always that one thing. It could be that you want a big party, that you want this piece of jewelry to go there. It's that emotional, sentimental thing that needs to happen. And then once that's out the way and documented, then we can deal with the big stuff. Who gets the house? Who gets the business? Who gets the pension fund? That kind of thing. So that's the best way to do it. Get rid of the thing that comes to your mind the first.
And if someone dies without a will, what happens, Alex? What are the consequences of that?
Oh, it could be a family feud. Because you haven't written down who needs to get what, then everyone presupposes, or they think, oh, Dad wanted me to get this. He said to me when I was 13, I should get this. And so this feud emerges.
Right.
just to reiterate, if you've got young children, they would automatically be deemed to be beneficiaries of a portion of your estate, but their inheritance will go to the government's guardian fund. Maybe you've got a life partner, you're not officially married.
Right.
Then the laws don't recognize that.
There's a lot of that happens just around the world, not just in South Africa, but around the world.
Laws won't recognize that. So you need a will to say, I need this to go to my life partner. We built this home together.
Sure. So what leg do you have to stand on? I mean, there's a very popular case right here in South Africa of WHP with his wife who was recognized by the law and one who wasn't. And they were both saying, well, we're both married to the man, and this is what he told me before he died he wanted to happen with his life and estate. And the family were like, well, we don't recognize you because you were never actually presented. And she said, well, I've been living with this man for the past 10 years. And so the back and forth went and went and went and went. So in that instance, when someone comes into your office with that sort of a case, how do you advise? Where do you even begin?
But first and foremost, it's going to be a court case.
Yeah.
And when it goes to court, it's a judge's decision.
Right.
Not what you believe.
So we look at the merits of the case.
You need to build your evidence. And again, I don't want to get too technical with that particular case. But in essence, if there is this tragedy where there's now no clear-cut will, we need to reconstruct some form of document. So maybe WHP had written something down or put something on an email.
Right.
And then we need to get that as his last wishes noted by a judge. If we get that right, then it can flow.
You've already answered the question, do you need to be rich to have a will? And the answer was a simple no. What safeguards can one put in place, Alex, to make sure that money you have left for your kids isn't mismanaged?
So the simplest and easiest solution is two things. When you're doing the will, create the trust. When you're creating the trust for your children, appoint a professional trustee and a family member or friend you trust. Okay. And I'll give you the example. If you've got a highly talented child at cricket, I'm the professional trustee. I don't know that your child we should be putting money aside to go on a cricket tour. Right. But your family friend or your brother would know that, and they'll be able to guide me when I'm doing the budgeting, when I'm running the trust. So it's best you set up the trust and your trustee appointment, professional and a friend, trusted friend or family.
Is this when we've seen instances where it says when the child turns 18, then they'll have access to?
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's exactly what that trust can do. You could say 25,
right,
for example. You could say 18, and then they get some money, and then 25.
Okay. So if I'm watching you this morning, Alex, and I'm interested in getting in touch with you, what's my first go-to?
We want to make it as easy as possible. The figure is 75%, so we want to make it as easy as possible. You simply go to capitallegacy.co.za, top right-hand side, you'll see, send us your name and number, and then one of my ladies will give you a call and book one of my consultants to give you a call if you're staying at home, or come see you at your office if you are so willing, and given these social distancing.
And this is anywhere in South Africa?
Anywhere in South Africa.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for making the time and stopping by this morning.
Good to be here. Thanks, Will.
That's Alex from Capital Legacy talking about your will. Do you have one? If you don't, I urge you to call Capital Legacy. Get in touch with them. They will help you out. All of it is free.